Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'd like to bring this Oconee County Council meeting to order for February the 20th, 2024. It's 6:23 p.m. Have a moment of silence, please. Mr. Root,
Yes, sir.
if you would give an invocation, please.
Absolutely. Pray with me if you'd like to. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Again, we can never give enough gratitude or express our appreciation enough for your many gifts. Help us to be mindful of those gifts and to see them. A lot of times we take things for granted. And I pray that we'd have our eyes wide open for the many blessings that you give us, the ability to walk and talk and move and interact. A lot of wonderful gifts, and help us to use those gifts rightly. In meetings like tonight, that we would do good work for the citizens of this county, that you would give us your wisdom, your guidance, your love, that you would essentially preside over this meeting. And I pray in your name, amen.
Amen. Mr. David Dial, would you do our honor and do our pledge of allegiance?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the agenda is approval of the minutes for February the 6th, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote is 5-0.
Next, our county attorney comments.
I do not have any. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Root. Ms. Brock, county administrator comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mize. Members of council, one, we do have a notation. Chairman Durham is unable to join us in person this evening and is joining the meeting via cell phone here, which is why the microphone and telephone is on my desk. The second matter of business is in the online backup that was posted previous to today, there was a Scribner's error on the Wahala Intergovernmental Agreement Fire Protection and Other Emergency Services response. On the indication under the number 1 item term, the year ending should be June 30th, 2025, not June 30th, 2028. The online material on the website at current is correct, but this was in previous backup, and I just want to make a notation of that in case anyone had seen the previous version.
No? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next on our agenda is presentation to council by Oconee County Humane Society 2023 report. Mr. Brian Oswald with the Humane Society Board President.
Well, good evening. Thank you for letting me come before you tonight. My name is Byron Oswald. I am relatively new president of the Oconee Humane Society. And I want to thank the council, the sheriff, and the county administrator for your continued support and partnership. I wanted to update you a little bit on our efforts and review some of our numbers from the calendar year 2023. As many as you know, the Oconee Humane Society opened our own clinic just over a year ago. That was a huge commitment on our part. We're currently blessed to have a retired veterinarian that volunteers 3 days of his week to perform spay and neuter surgeries. We are currently advertising nationally. There's a vet shortage across the country to hire a vet full-time so that we can expand the services that we offer. Last year in that clinic, we performed over 2,651 spay and neuter surgeries. Through various grants we received, we were also able to provide 2,092 free pet vaccinations. We have 2 programs for spay and neuter in our county. One is the Humane Society's low-cost voucher that they can use at our clinic or through other vets throughout the county. This is typically about half the cost that it would cost normally. The other is the SNAC program, which is a Spay Neuter Assistance Coalition. And this is funded by the county. These are based on household income. It can cost as little as $10. We provided 2,864 low-cost spay and neuter vouchers last year. At the Humane Society, we have a dedicated trap, neuter, and return team that goes out where colonies of community cats have been reported. They assess the area, they set traps, they collect the cats, they bring the cats in for spay and neuter, and then return them to their area. The public has also stepped up in this program, and last year 779 community cats were captured, fixed, and returned. In addition to that, we took in another 956 abandoned kittens that were saved, fostered, and then adopted out. Just a little data, an average cat has 1 to 8 kittens per litter and 2 to 3 litters per year. One female cat can have more than 100 kittens in her lifetime. A staggering number to consider is that one single pair of cats can produce as many as 420,000 kittens in 7 years. The Oconee County Humane Society is thankful for the support we receive from this county on the joint ventures that we do to reduce pet overpopulation, cruelty, and abandonment. I want to take a few minutes just to review those joint venture programs that we do. The low-cost spay neuter certificates, projected cost for 24-25 is $114,000. The county contributes $100,000 to that. Our community cats program, which is the trap, neuter, rabies, vaccination, and release of feral cats, our projected cost is 1,000 cats at $78 a cat, or $78,000. The county contributes $20,000 to that program, which leaves us, our donors, to come up with the other $58,000. Our foster kittens, which are kittens of ferals that are fostered and adopted, again, the projected cost for next year is $105,000, and the county's contributed approximately $17,830, which again leaves us with a gap of $87,000 that we have to raise through our donations. We do work with various rescue partners across the country, and we're able to transport over 354 animals last year to rescues throughout they go mostly up north where the spay and neuter laws are much more strict and people are actually looking for pets. Another program that we have is a humane education program that goes out into the community where children read to the animals at local libraries and learn about pet safety and welfare. We partner with the South Carolina Dogs Therapy Group, and we take trained therapy dogs on these sessions. We also go to the local Y and work with the kids there as well, and much, much more. We determined that if we can keep the dogs and the pets in the homes, then it's to our benefit. They don't end up at animal control or abandoned on the side of the road. So we really stepped up in a big way with our food pantry. Last year, we provided over 66,300 pounds of pet food to those in need. And of course, our goal is to keep the pets in the home, not turn it into animal control. We also work with the Golden Corner Food Bank and provide them with food to give to their clients. All of this was accomplished with a very small paid staff, as you know, and an incredible volunteer army that donated well over 22,000 hours last year. I'd like to leave you with some information and statistics, and thank you for your time, but I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Council, any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you and all the volunteers and your board. I know you have some board members. Appreciate what they do for the Humane Society. It's a great benefit to Oconee County and especially the pets. It's a big problem, but y'all have created some solutions, and I appreciate all of putting your heads together to do a great job. I appreciate the council upping the funding this year, and everything's getting a lot more expensive, so
Absolutely.
probably looking same way going into next year.
But we do appreciate your support, and as you know, all the kennels are full, all across the country, so it's just almost a crisis situation. So we do appreciate your help and support. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald. Next, we have a public comment session. Anyone speaking will have 5 minutes for speaking time. At the 1 minute time limit, 1 minute remaining, I'll hold up the yellow sign. And then at the end of the 5 minutes will be the red stop sign.
We have no speakers.
No speakers tonight. All right. All right, I'm going to open up public hearing for ordinances.
Wait a minute.
Councilman comments.
I skipped over that. Council member comments.
I have one.
Go ahead, Mr. Ellie.
So in 2014, I moved to Oconee County. I found paradise, God's country. Here we are in 2024, still paradise, still God's country. Now let's fast forward 10 years, 2034. The beauty's gone. It's wall-to-wall houses in the industry. There's even a gift shop beside every waterfall. I could kick myself for not doing something in 2024. Gentlemen, we're failing. Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Moving forward in the public hearing, I'm gonna open public hearings for ordinance 2024-5, an ordinance to appropriate and authorize expenditure of $56,000 of funding on the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, for the Seneca Library ADA ramp project and other matters related thereof.
Make a motion.
We're
Oh,
just-
excuse me, this is public hearing.
We have no speakers.
No speakers. And I close public hearing for ordinance 2024-05. Next ordinance is 2024-06, an ordinance to supplement ordinance 2021-20, which appropriated and authorized the expenditure of $3 million of local coronavirus physical recovery funding received by Oconee County under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, for purposes of the Seneca Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Project by amending the project scope to include additional water system improvements and other matters related thereto.
We have no speakers.
No speakers. I close public hearing for ordinance 2024-06. We have third readings for the above-mentioned ordinances I just read.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-05.
Second.
56,000.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote is 5-0.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-06 for the ARPA funding to include the scope of the project as mentioned.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All approve?
Aye.
Vote is 5-0.
Moving on, we got second reading of the following ordinances. Got ordinance 2024-08. It's an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes and special source revenue credit agreement by and between Oconee County, South Carolina, and Project Red, acting for itself, one or more current or future affiliates and/or other project companies, collectively company, with respect to certain economic development property located in Oconee County, providing for a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes incentive, providing for a special source revenue credit, and developing a joint county industrial business park between Oconee County and Pickens County so as to designate the property of the project as part of the park and other matters related.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote is 5-0.
Mr. Chairman, just remember to give an opportunity for discussion after the second. Doesn't sound like there's any need for discussion.
Thank you. Next ordinance on the agenda is ordinance 2024-10. An ordinance establishing a budgetary increase limitation for Oconee County, South Carolina, and other matters related thereto. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
We have a
I'd like to
discussion.
make a motion to
delay this till the next meeting when Mr. Durham, who has brought it forth, is here, unless he wants to talk over the phone. Unless there's a pressing matter that we need to.
We still have a third reading.
I understand that this is the second reading that I'm making a motion to delay till the next one.
Second.
So we got,
At this point, see if there's any motion, or any discussion on the motion to amend and table or postpone it.
Postpone, not table, do
Postpone.
the next meeting, which would be March. Yeah.
At this juncture, just see if there's any discussion on that motion to postpone it to the next
are there
meeting.
any discussion of,
Yes, I think it's a good idea that Mr. Durham's here in person, since it is his, ordinance.
I think we're.
I'm on the phone. And we still have a third reading.
What did he say?
he says he's on the phone, then there's a third reading, so there's another.
I agree with Mr. Durham.
So,
If there's no other discussion on it, then a vote on the motion to postpone.
all right, we got a motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone is to take the vote on it now.
Did we have a second on that?
We did.
I did.
All in favor of postponing?
All right.
And all opposed.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
The vote is 2-3.
So the motion fails, and so you're back to the original
Aye.
ordinance.
That motion failed to amend, so we're gonna make a motion. Do I hear a motion on the second reading?
We already have
You've already have a
We already
motion.
got the,
motion to the second.
Then they make the discussion on this, on the.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir. So I was looking at LinkedIn, I guess, last week. LinkedIn is not like Facebook, it's a business forum. And Mr. Jamie Gilbert posted something out there that I thought I wanted to share with everybody. So let me share this with y'all. And Ms. Adams, I'd like to make this part of the minutes, please, sir. Please, ma'am. And I'll read it out to everyone, to the public. And I appreciate Mr. Gilbert posting that. Looking at the property tax millage rate statewide in South Carolina as of December 2023, Oconee County continues to show why we're such an outstanding location for business. When you combine total property tax millage rates, county and school, in unincorporated areas, and the lowest school millage rate in each of South Carolina's 46 counties, the numbers are impressive. Oconee's property tax millage rate of 214.9 bills is the lowest in the 10-county upstate region and the third lowest overall in South Carolina. The average millage rate in South Carolina is 334.04. Oconee County's millage rate is 36% lower than the state average. The average millage rate for upstate South Carolina is 290.48 mils. Oconee's millage rate is 26% lower than the upstate average. Just another reason Oconee County, South Carolina is a top shelf for business. And it's been this way for years. So I would argue that we've had a conservative budget for many years now, third lowest in the state, lowest in the top 10 of South Carolina. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Chairman. Some of the concern of this, with the ordinance stating it's a conservative budget, it's not a budget at all. It's what I know is trying to get out there is that council is doing its best to continue to keep taxes low, as was stated on there and as is proven. And also making sure to have a transparent budget that is similar to years past and not with hidden stuff. I was, had a person bring up something to me that they were concerned because they follow, different news sources, and one of those news sources Mr. Durham was interviewed that said our county budget, this is the NERV interviewed Durham last summer after Oconee County passed the 24 spending plan in line with a sustainable budget. The county's budget of $60.7 million not only stayed within the population and inflation threshold, but it was also nearly $231,000 less than its prior year's final amended budget. And to me, that's not true. That's a certain part of our budget, and it's geared to confuse the public on what our actual budget is, because our budget is more than it was last year. And not only that, we had a lot of underfunded, or we funded 50% of salaries. And I understand why we did that, because the budget was passed so late. But we have 50% of salaries that we funded in the budget that come in the next year, we have to fund it again. So it's confusing to go on here, and when people see stuff that comes for this, whether it's all true or whether it's not true, but a council member is giving information out that is not true. Unless I'm wrong, I don't think our budget's $60.7 million. There's a portion of it that you could say is $60.7 million, but the actual budget is not. So when you say, oh, the budget's less, to look like you did something or call yourself a conservative, to me, that's exactly what the reason for this budget is. Rather than council work together to make sure that we're doing things right, we did an amendment in last year's budget, included stuff for the Humane Society, which was much needed. And continue to do. Prices are not going down. What council has to focus on, and I believe that we are, is continue to make sure that we're building proper industry for jobs, and we've done a phenomenal job of that, which is why our taxes, personal taxes, have gone down. We've had 2 tax increases since the original increase that I was in favor of, and that reason why I was in favor of it is it included school resource officers across the county, and that was over almost $800 and something thousand, if I remember. I'm shooting from the hip on that. But that was the reason why we had that tax increase. We've had 2 tax decreases that's brought the millage rate for most homeowners back down below where it was at since, I think 2017. So council's doing a great job. My problem is why are we screaming, oh, look, these 2 guys up here are not in favor of a conservative budget? That's not a budget, it's a piece of paper to try to build yourself up to stand on a pedestal. That's why I'm not in favor of it. Thanks, sir.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion.
I am. We all are.
Mr. Mize, can you hear me?
I can.
So Joanne, you are wrong. So the budget prior to this year's budget was $60.9 million for the operating budget. The operating budget this year, I think, was $58 million. And in that article for the NERV, for transparency, I relayed that we created a fund balances, different funds, and if you migrate some of those fund expenditures back into the operating budget for apples to apples, then that operating budget was about $60.7 million. So that's being transparent or showing people, hey, yeah, we moved these funds out, but if it was equal apples to apples, this is where we would be. And hey, what's wrong with looking out and trying to be number 1 instead of number 2 or 3 in the state? Let's be number 1, and let's look out for the taxpayers. Anytime I hear a politician say the taxes are low, I hear they think the citizens aren't taxed enough. So this is a budget policy put in place, a guideline to lead council and to making sure that a budget does not grow beyond a sustainable pace. As we see, as real estate values go up, revenue goes up, and you chase it. Let's base budgets off actual growth. It's no different than a previous council passing an ordinance that made requirements to hold a fund balance. And because they did that, it set the council up. The council strove to meet that ordinance, and it set the council up for success and the county up for success.
I think you said it, Mr. Durham. I think this, I hear a politician, and this is all politics about the June primary. Thank you.
So is the county's budget $60.7 million, $231,000 less than the prior year?
Apples to apples, we created funds which allowed us to accrue a balance so we can better plan for the future. But to be transparent, I relayed to the public that if you did apples to apples, all the money that was moved out of the operating fund into other funds, this is what the operating fund would have been for this year, apples to the previous year.
But is the county's budget 60.7 million and nearly 231,000 less than prior year final amended budget?
Maybe I will say this a third time and it will sink in. The county's budget, the previous year, operating budget was 60.9 million. You may not be aware, but the new budget we created different funds. Each fund's allocated for different things, and it's transparent. The funds go into those funds is for designated items, and they're also allowed to accrue balance. Whereas currently, in the general fund budget, as revenue goes up, you have to match it, so spending just chases it. This allows us to set money in designated accounts to plan for the future. Now, if we took that money and we didn't put them in those designated accounts on what we allocated to spend last year, the operating budget would have been roughly 60.7 million. And I'm sure you're aware now, I've told you a couple of times, we set funds aside. The Fire and Emergency Services Equipment Fund has $1.3 million set aside for it to buy future fire trucks. Chief Grimes told us how many fire trucks we got coming up in the next few years. We also set $600,000 aside for emergency and the capital equipment replacement plan. It's all planning. And you cannot convince me, you can't convince the public that your operating budget should grow at double the pace of inflation and population growth. You shouldn't outgrow the growth of the county. Now, there's extenuating circumstances that come up. And, hey, as a council, that's what we're led to do. We can take charge of it. This ordinance doesn't preclude you from taking that into account. At that point in time, we can come to a consensus. It just requires one more vote. Instead of a simple majority pushing through, it takes 2/3.
Yeah. I'm not really worried about the ordinance period because we've continually lowered taxes and continually will, hopefully. But my issue is just because you move the money out of one to the other doesn't mean that it's less. And that's the issue across the board is you can't play hide and go seek when you don't have anything to hide behind. So,
hey, it's not hiding, it's transparent. Versus over budgeting to grow a fund balance, this shows where the funds go. The public can look at, they know where the funds go. And you say you're lowering taxes. I don't believe we've lowered taxes. We may have lowered the rate, but the amount of money people pay has not reduced. Politicians like to say we held the line on taxes if they held the rate steady or they lowered the rate, but that's not true. The amount of money people's paying is not going down. As real estate values skyrocket, we've lowered the rate, but we've not lowered the actual bottom line tax.
Any other comments? All right, getting back to a motion to approve.
Yeah, you've had your first and second. Sounds like discussion's done, so you can take the vote now.
Do I hear a motion to approve second reading of ordinance
No.
2024-10?
Just take a vote.
Just a vote, yeah.
Just a
right.
vote.
You're ready for a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Nah.
That is 3-2.
All right. First reading of the following ordinance, we have none. First and final readings for the following resolutions, none for this meeting. Discussion regarding action items. Discuss and approve or ratify the intergovernmental agreement between Oconee County and the City of Walhalla for fire protection and other emergency response services. And it says see Resolution 2023-15, including in the backup materials. And Ms. Brock has already explained the one typo that was in the backup material, which has been corrected. Request for council's approval.
motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
That's
Discussion.
5-0.
Make sure call for discussion.
Any discussion? No discussion? Next item, request county council's approval to authorize Oconee County Administrator to provide a letter of support for the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources property acquisition project. This acquisition of property, 17 acres in Oconee County, adjoining Stump House Mountain Heritage Preserve Wildlife Management Area. And it gives the tax map. I'm not gonna read all of this.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The vote is 5-0.
Just remember that discussion after the second.
I keep forgetting that discussion, Lord, I like to push these through. All right. Was there any discussion? Let me back up. Any discussion on this? None. So we approved that one. Moving to the last item. This is for the purchase of a 2024 Ford F-450 crane truck for the Department for Vehicle Maintenance in the amount of $157,775.50. This procurement was approved by council in fiscal year 2023-2024 budget process. The budget was $157,775.50. Project cost, $157,775.50 with a balance of zero. I'm not gonna read the discussion.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. The only comment I would make about this, I read through this, it's apparently this is a regular cab truck. Would it be more efficient to have a four-door truck? And how much more would it take?
Please come forward, state your name for the record, Mr. Pay.
I'm trying to help you fellers out.
My name's Dwayne Pay, Vehicle Maintenance Director. Four-door truck for this, really, the back seat's not gonna have a lot of use. Most of the time, we have a single or two mechanics going out. So just having this truck and the upgraded crane and all system that we're looking at and the welder and generator is gonna help us out a lot.
So it was just an item that I thought about, but you don't want it.
Not a four-door.
Here's your chance.
What are they gonna do with the other old truck? Is it gonna be sent around the county, or is it gonna put on the gov deal?
So right now, we're looking at possibly utilizing it a little bit with solid waste with some projects there going on. We're gonna utilize it for a while, and then afterwards, it will be sold.
Okay, thank you.
That is the staff's recommendation, council approve the purchase of this vehicle. I hear a motion.
That motion.
Second.
I think it was.
Mr. Hart was the second on that.
Yeah.
Mr. Harper, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Vote is 5-0.
Council committee reports, we don't have any for this meeting. Board of Commission appointments,
No questionnaires tonight.
no, we don't have any questionnaires for this meeting. And we don't have anything for the Agriculture Advisory Board, no questionnaires on file. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Hang on, statement, we have motion, discussion regarding economic development management project, Cherry. That's my motion.
Good one.
That was my
Second.
motion.
Second. I'll
Just
second.
stating- Just stating the reason.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote is 5-0.
Motion to exit executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
I apologize not being present for most of the meeting. I have two sick children, one who needed medicine, the pharmacy in CVS and Ingalls, and West Union didn't have it, so I had to go to Seneca, so she can get some relief. No action was taken in executive session, and then a motion to adjourn.
Make motion.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.